Hi, I am Kathryn Petruccelli. Driving Route 58 East, bearing down on Barstow, California, in all of its hot, empty nothingness, headed for a campground in the Mojave Desert National Preserve. So, I'm an ocean girl. The desert feels made up. There was a jackrabbit running beside our van. There was a sidewinding snake actually drawing pictures in the dirt. There were tracks we found that looked suspiciously like Roadrunner, because people, that is apparently a real thing. We saw owl pellets and petroglyphs, and it was late May. The desert was in bloom, so out of the dust was red and orange and yellow. The place was virtually mythical. This is half the reason to go on a road trip in the first place, to dream beyond what you already know and who you already are. It was day 3 of a 5.5-week trek that was going to take us from California to Massachusetts. The van we were driving had a cassette player in it, only, and we planned super well, so we had one cassette tape in the van. It was a homemade compilation of 70s music. Any guesses as to how many times you have to hear the song, "I Will Survive," before you have 0 will to survive? I can actually tell you, on a scale of California to Massachusetts, it's around Utah. So we had no music, no soundtrack to speak of, no smartphones at the time, no music. Instead, I wrote. I was a blogger with a small but dedicated audience, and I was a freelance journalist. I had even pitched the road trip to a few of the papers, hoping to catch some interest. I got a very nice rejection letter from the Boston Globe. But I kept trying because writers want audiences. So we set up shop in Mojave under these rock formations like I had never seen. Incredible. My husband and my 6-year-old went out exploring. I was pregnant at the time and tired, so I decided to stay back in the van and rest. And after a little while, I started to hear this rustling sound outside, and immediately I thought, ooh, it's got to be some mythical desert creature out there just waiting for me to discover it and write it up and share its story with my limited but dedicated audiences. So I go out to check. It's our trash bag flapping around in the breeze. But after I stopped that, I could hear this other sound that had been hidden under that noise. It was music, this gorgeous, lilting music that was like reverberating around the rock faces. It just kind of filled me from the inside. And I tried to convince myself that, okay, this is somebody's downloaded playlist, somebody who has prepared much better than we did for their road trip. But I kept listening, and it became clear this was no device. Someone was singing. I looked to my left, maybe about 400 feet, and there was a man tying something to a minivan roof. And he turned his head, and it was him. He was singing. He was completely alone, singing to the desert, just because, I guess. I couldn't really take it in. I mean, I was alone, but maybe for half an hour. I was the blogger looking for comments, and I was the freelance journalist with a hopeful byline. I was not the person who came to sing to the red hills in the solitude of the desert, whether or not anyone else witnessed it. There was an amazing array of personalities that I met on this trip that changed me. There were the people excavating a sinkhole in South Dakota of the woolly mammoth skeletons. There were the Amish in Pennsylvania. And there was my conversation as a 3-decades-long vegetarian with a pig farmer in a bar. But this first desert memory, We get to be one person. I am your ocean girl. But out on the road, it's like some part of us breaks down a little bit to let in the magic reflecting off people wildly different than we are. And that's a good thing. Thanks.